I am Noreen Warnock.
I'm Michael Jones.
My name is Yolanda Owens.
My name is Rebecca Love.
Hi, I am Corey Russell.
Hi, I'm Jessica Williams.
My name is Eli Sparks.
Hi, I'm Jill Clark.
My name is Monique Williams McCoy.
The impetus for me was in 2006 when my wife was pregnant with our daughter, Ella. We were sitting one evening and I read this article that said my daughter's generation was going to be the first ever whose life expectancy would be less than her parents. So as I began to investigate what was behind that, the thing that kept coming back to me, relative to issues of obesity, diabetes, etc., was food, and primarily the food system. And eventually that's what led to meeting Noreen and really starting to have some conversations about what's happening in Columbus, Ohio, what's happening in the state of Ohio.
I came from a very financially poor family, not poor in other ways, and when I got to a point where I knew that I could afford any kind of food I wanted, I just put my stake in the ground and said I did not want to go on to the next step in whatever our life process is without helping families like mine especially have access to healthier food.
I met Noreen Warnock, one of the co-founders, I think in 1999. She was part of a pretty ambitious effort to bring together farmers and consumers into the same space for the first time. That really introduced me to not just Noreen, but her as a movement leader.
She is a powerhouse and she is just awesome. And her sincerity and passion for helping others, helping people is amazing. And so her being a really great mentor to me and to the people in our organization is something that will be truly missed.
We spent 2 years just doing investigation before we even started Local Matters as a nonprofit in 2008. I also think what we discovered is that the place really where there was the biggest need was in the world of education, starting with kids as young as possible to educate them on what healthy food is, how it could be prepared, and just to cultivate a general interest in it.
I was the first employee that Local Matters hired. So that's been 18 years and 11 months ago.
My relationship started with Local Matters back in 2009. The program director at the time found me working in a garden and teaching urban agriculture to high school students. She asked me what I was doing during the school year and I didn't know, and so she invited me in for an interview.
I've been a food educator for 9 years.
After I left the restaurant business, I had to reassess how I wanted myself to be representative to my kids, how I wanted people to see me, and I needed to build myself back up. So Local Matters was my safe haven.
It's a sense of family for me, getting to know other people and really experiencing the work and passion of others at Local Matters and really getting to see how everybody involve themselves in each way or community and servicing other people.
I retired 2 years ago as director of the Franklin County Board of Developmental Disabilities Early Childhood Education Programs. And many early childhood programs did not have the experience of having an opportunity to partner with a organization that was exposing the community to good eating, healthy nutrition, education, training, all of that. I knew nothing about Local Matters. I knew nothing about what they could offer. And they taught us a lot.
Local Matters is part of and was at the head of the local food movement, our local food system movement here in Columbus.
We were really trailblazers and people were so excited to be able to come in and grow food and come to classes and learn how to cook those foods and the benefits for their bodies and how things can really change.
We became exposed to different things that we had not been before. We've had just a lot of experiences that really broadened our way of teaching and learning, broadened our perspective on wellness, and it just was something that made us stand apart from other early childhood programs.
Living in poverty is the hardest job that people will ever have. We really did go into schools and the community and families to show them a better way to live and surrounded by food, and the resources around food was very impactful for me to be able to do those things in our community.
My kids knew who Miss Monique was, and we would always find her at the Bronzeville Market. They knew they were going to always get a cup of grapes no matter what if they saw her.
Myself and other food educators and many others at Local Matters still have so many stories that continue to this day of meeting families, former students who remember exactly who we are, what we learned about in our classes.
Often organizations go into a community and they say, we have resources, you have a problem, we can help you and we'll tell you what you need to do. Our approach was always to have a conversation with the community about what do you feel the issues are here, what do you need, and how can we participate?
They were really at the forefront of something that I think, if I were teaching a class, we would talk about community food security. Community food security being something very different than individual or household food security, very different than just thinking about anti-hunger initiatives. And I've been thinking about this and trying to, feel some hope about what is the closing of a really critical organization in the community. Is that because of this orientation towards empowerment versus just thinking about outcomes, is that they're leaving the community in a better place because the capacity of others has been built up.
It was just two things together, food and community, and I think that still rings true today. How food connects us all, and how food is a basic human right? And the understanding of where it comes from and how it impacts our bodies and our health and how it builds communities.
It helped me get to know parts of my community I didn't know before, and it became its own little community in its own right. Committed to food sovereignty, food justice, meeting folks where they are, providing fresh, healthy food that's also culturally appropriate. So Local Matters meant a lot to me, and still does.
For the community, gosh, it's an incredible loss to no longer have Local Matters as part of our world. There were so many things that happened as a result of Local Matters, with food opportunities for families.
What often happens, and it's just frustrating to me on the funding side, is that things that are the shiny object get attention for a certain period of time, and then whether they're successful or not, people lose interest. And that doesn't help when you're trying to sustain an organization for a long period of time.
Local Matters meant so much to me. It felt like when we were coming to an end, like somebody was breaking my heart. Somebody was trying to physically remove my heart and stomp on it.
The work that Local Matters does is highly important just because it does give back to the community and it helps people in a way of finding food, accessing nutritional food, finding those programs that help sustain and allow people to live their best lives.
We've tried to be really intentional in stewarding and lending the work to other organizations for it to carry on.
It's just been amazing how many have come forth to help us over the years to do this work and who have found it important.
And Local Matters, I will miss you as an organization. I want to say thank you to amazing number of people who have participated with us over the years.
Local Matters really means vision and leadership.
Local Matters meant another way of thinking about teaching and learning.
So the legacy of people knowing that we were there, we cared, we were going through the same thing. We are coming out here giving you fresh food, not just fresh food with dignity, with love, with smiley faces, to not make you go home feeling like defeated. I want you to go home and be like, I got this food from Local Matters and I'm gonna make a dish and my kids are gonna love it. That was our legacy.
Food is at the center of human life. It is where we meet to celebrate life, to grieve, to express our cultural and religious beliefs. It's our sustenance. We need it to live, but it's also how we express our humanity beyond just the nutrients that we need to survive.
There's a lot of passion around food that exists. The more we're willing to embrace each other, but also continue to focus on what's really going to move the needle, what's really going to be that lever that we can pull that eventually ensures that everybody in our community has equal access to.
And also, there's a lot of fun in this work. So I just want to make sure that people aren't scared away by the how much work there is to be done, but the work itself and the people who come to it are absolutely amazing.
I believe that another world is possible, and it is necessary to create that ourselves. And we can do that through food.
We absolutely could never have done anything that we did without all of you. Thank you.
I enjoyed working this job every day, even on the hard days and the hot days and the long days and the shaky days. It's been a privilege, and I deem it a privilege that I've had an opportunity to participate in this trailblazing journey that we did here at Local Matters. And as we would say often, onward.